All right, let's talk about vSphere identity management. We're going to demystify the whole process and show you how to stop juggling all those individual user accounts and instead plug right into your company's central directory, like Active Directory. This is going to make your life a whole lot easier. Okay, let's jump in.
So let me ask you this. Are you still going into the vSphere client and manually creating a new local user every single time someone on your team needs access, one after another? It's a classic admin pain point for sure, but trust me, there is a much, much better way.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. Doing things manually is a total time sink. It's inefficient. It's also a security risk, right? You end up with these forgotten, orphaned accounts just hanging around. And as your team grows, forget about it. The whole system just completely breaks down. It just doesn't scale.
But there's a fix for all this. The solution is to centralize everything by connecting vCenter directly to the identity source you already use every day. And that's where this idea of an LDAP identity source comes into play.
So what in the world is an LDAP identity source? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a bridge. It's basically a configuration inside vCenter that tells its single sign-on service, or SSO, hey, don't look here for users anymore. Go look over there in our main company directory like Active Directory. This way, you can use the same network credentials you already have to log in. Now let's break down the key players here, because it's actually pretty straightforward. You've got vCenter SSO. Think of it as the gatekeeper or the bouncer at the club. Then there's the identity source. That's your Active Directory, which is like the official guest list. LDAP and LDAP-S, that's just the language they both speak to each other. And the base DN, that just tells the bouncer where to start looking on the list for your users and groups. See? It's a pretty elegant system when you lay it all out.
Okay, so we know all the pieces of the puzzle, but what actually happens when someone tries to log in? Let's walk through that authentication handshake, because it's way simpler than you might think.
But first, we've got to talk about a really crucial point, security. You've basically got two ways for these systems to talk, LDAP and LDAP-S. Standard LDAP sends everything, usernames, passwords, you name it, in plain text across the network. Not great. LDAP-S, on the other hand, wraps that entire conversation in a nice, secure layer of encryption. So let's be super clear. In any modern setup, using LDAP-S isn't just a suggestion, it's an absolute necessity.
And this is how it all comes together. Step 1, you, the admin, do a one-time setup. You just point vCenter's SSO over to your directory. That's it. From that moment on, whenever a user types in their info, SSO doesn't check it locally. Instead, it securely forwards the request to your Active Directory. AD gives the thumbs up, saying, yep, this person is legit, and then vCenter looks at their group membership to decide what they're allowed to see and do. It's that clean.
So we've seen the how, but now let's get to the why. Why is this really considered a best practice? What's the real, tangible payoff for you and your organization when you set this up?
You know, it really all boils down to this one powerful idea. You get one single source of truth for identity. No more duplicate accounts. No more laying awake at night wondering if the employee you disabled in Active Directory still has admin rights in vSphere. You make one change in one place and it controls access everywhere, instantly.
And that one change unlocks all of these amazing benefits. Management becomes centralized, so all that time you wasted creating users is yours again. Onboarding and offboarding is handled in AD as it should be. Your security posture gets a massive upgrade, not just from LDPS encryption, but by getting rid of those stray accounts. And it scales beautifully. You can go from 10 users to 10,000 without breaking a sweat. It's the modern, correct way to do things.
So, we've gone through the problems, the solution, and all the benefits. But if you walk away with just one thing from all this, what should it be? Let's boil it all down to the core message.
The most important takeaway is this. Integrate your identity, don't isolate it. Every single time you create a local user account in some application, you're creating a little island of identity that has to be managed all on its own. Connecting vSphere to your central directory tears down those islands and builds a secure, efficient, and scalable system.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Now that you see how powerful this approach is for vSphere, start thinking a little bigger. Look around your own environment. What other applications, what other systems are you still managing with those isolated local user accounts? What's the next system you can centralize to make your life easier and your entire organization that much more secure?